There is a moment, just before sleep takes you, when your fingers naturally loosen their grip on the day. Feel it now, the way your hand releases whatever it was holding, the way your jaw unclenches, the way your shoulders melt away from your ears. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. This is your body teaching you the first law of manifestation, that everything you truly desire comes not from grasping, but from gracefully letting go. Tonight, as your breathing deepens and your heart rate slows, imagine that your entire life has been like holding water in your cupped palms. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. But when you hold your hands open, relaxed, the water rests, they're naturally clear. Still, reflecting the sky, the quantum field that surrounds you right now is much like this water. It is an infinite ocean of possibility, containing every dream you've ever whispered in the dark, every prayer you've sent into the void, every vision that has danced behind your closed eyes. This field doesn't respond to your desperation. It doesn't answer your demands. It doesn't bend to your will when you clench your fists and try to force outcomes into existence. Instead, the quantum field responds to something far more subtle. Quiet frequency of your being when you stop trying so hard to become something else. Feel your body sinking deeper into wherever you rest. Notice how your muscles naturally release when you're not commanding them to hold a particular shape. This is surrender in its purest form, not defeat, but a return to your most natural state. In this space, something extraordinary begins to happen. When you release your grip on how things should unfold, you create room for how things want to unfold. The difference is profound. One comes from the limited perspective of your thinking mind, with its fears and conditioning and need to control. The other comes from the vast intelligence of the universe itself, which has been orchestrating miracles since before you took your first breath. Your nervous system knows this truth intimately. When you're in fight or flight mode, when your body is braced for threat, when your mind is spinning with anxiety about the future, you emit a frequency of resistance. This frequency pushes away the very things you're trying to attract. It creates what scientists call wave interference. The waves of your desire crash against the waves of your fear, cancelling each other out. But in this moment, as your body settles into rest, as your breath becomes your anchor, as your heart rate synchronizes with the rhythm of the earth itself, you begin to emit a different frequency entirely. The frequency of allowing, the frequency of trust, the frequency of someone who knows, deep in their bones, that they are not separate from the creative force of the universe. This is where the observer effect becomes not just a quantum physics principle, but a lived experience. In the laboratory, scientists have discovered that the very act of observation changes what is being observed. A particle exists in all possible states until someone looks at it, then it collapses into a single reality. But here's what they rarely tell you. The quality of that observation matters. The frequency of the observer shapes what appears. When you observe your life from a place of desperate need, from a place of lack, from a place of forcing and grasping, you collapse possibilities into experiences that match that frequency. But when you observe from a place of gentle curiosity, from a place of trust, from a place of allowing, you invite entirely different realities to emerge. Breathe into this knowing. Feel how your body naturally softens when you're not demanding it to be different. Feel how your mind naturally quiets when you're not filling it with strategies and schemes. Feel how your heart naturally opens when you're not protecting it from disappointment. This is not about giving up on your dreams. This is about recognizing that your dreams are not separate from you. They are already woven into the fabric of who you are. When you stop trying to chase them down and capture them, When you stop trying to force them into existence through sheer will, they have space to find you. They have permission to surprise you. They have freedom to manifest in ways more beautiful than your limited imagination could have conceived. The ancient mystics understood this paradox. They knew that the most powerful creative force in the universe is not effort, but effortlessness. Not struggle, but surrender. Not force, but flow. They spoke of waction without action, doing without doing, the art of moving with the natural current of existence rather than against it. Modern quantum physics is rediscovering this ancient wisdom through a different lens. It's showing us that at the most fundamental level, reality is not solid and fixed, but fluid and responsive. It's showing us that consciousness and matter are not separate things, but different aspects of the same underlying field. It's showing us that the universe is not a machine to be manipulated, but a living system to be danced with, as you continue to breathe, as you continue to soften, as you continue to let go. Feel yourself becoming part of this dance. Feel yourself remembering that you are not a separate self trying to extract something from an unwilling universe. You are the universe experiencing itself through the unique lens of your perspective, with all your dreams and desires as natural expressions of its infinite creativity. Tonight, as you drift towards sleep, consider this. What if the very thing you've been trying so hard to make happen is already on its way to you? What if your desperate grasping has been the only thing preventing it from arriving? What if the moment you truly let go not from defeat, but from deep trust ease, the moment everything shifts? The quantum field is listening. Not to your words, not to your plans, not to your strategies, but to the frequency of your being. When that frequency aligns with the frequency of allowing, of trust, of surrender, magic becomes not just possible, but inevitable. What are you ready to release your grip on tonight, so that something even more beautiful can take its place? Let your breath slow now, feeling the weight of your body settling into this moment like sand returning to stillness after a wave has passed. Your consciousness is not merely watching reality unfold, it is the gentle hand that shapes the clay of existence itself. In the quantum realm, scientists speak of something extraordinary, the observer effect. When no one is looking, particles exist in a state of infinite possibility, dancing between all potential realities at once. But the moment awareness touches them, they choose. They collapse from the realm of maybe into the world of is. Your consciousness works this same quiet magic every day. Though you may not realize the profound power you carry, think of your morning routine before you fully awaken. Your day exists in quantum superposition, infinite variations of conversations, encounters, and experiences hovering in the field of potential. But as your awareness emerges from sleep, as you choose where to place your attention, you begin the sacred act of reality selection, not through force or demand, but through the quality of your presence. Your nervous system knows this truth intimately. When you're anxious, scattered, or grasping for control, you're broadcasting a frequency of desperation into the quantum field. The universe feels this energetic signature and responds accordingly, often manifesting the very chaos you're trying to avoid. But when you breathe deeply, when you allow your nervous system to downregulate into parasympathetic calm, something remarkable happens. You become a clear channel, a pure observer. Notice how differently the world responds when you approach it. From this centered place, conversations flow with unexpected ease. Opportunities appear as if summoned by your stillness. This isn't coincidence, it's the observer effect working through the fabric of your daily existence. Your calm presence literally invites different possibilities to collapse into your reality. The quantum field is always listening to the frequency of your being, not your words, not your desperate prayers, but the deeper resonance of your nervous system. When you're dysregulated, caught in trauma loops or patterns of self-betrayal, you're unconsciously choosing from a limited menu of possibilities. Your awareness becomes clouded by past conditioning, selecting experiences that confirm old stories about yourself and the world. But here, in this moment, as your breath deepens and your body softens, you remember something profound. You are not your patterns. You are not your past. You are the consciousness that observes these patterns, the awareness that can choose differently. Imagine your awareness as a lighthouse beam slowly rotating through the darkness. Wherever your attention lands, reality brightens and takes form. The areas left in shadow remain in potential, waiting patiently for your consciousness to call them forth. This is why presence is so much more powerful than planning. Why being trumps doing in the quantum realm. Your mind wants to control, to force, to demand that reality conform to its agenda. But your deeper wisdom knows that true manifestation happens through invitation, not invasion. When you stop trying to grab hold of outcomes and simply hold space for what wants to emerge, you become a collaborator with the quantum field rather than a competitor. Think of a time when you were so absorbed in an activity that you lost track of time, when the boundary between you and the experience dissolved. In these moments, your observer self wasn't trying to direct the dance, it was simply witnessing the dance itself. This is the state where quantum coherence naturally arises, where your frequency aligns with the field's deeper intelligence. The universe responds not to your demands, but to the quality of your presence. When you're present without agenda, aware without grasping, you create space for the quantum field to surprise you. Solutions appear that you never could have planned. Synchronicities emerge that feel like winks from the cosmos. This is the observer effect in its most beautiful form. Consciousness and reality co-creating. Through the simple act of aware presence, your nervous system holds the key to this transformation. Each time you pause, breathe, and return to the present moment, you're not just calming your body, you're upgrading your relationship with the quantum field itself. You're moving from reactive observer to conscious participant, from desperate demander to patient inviter. As you lie here now, feeling your body's weight against the earth, notice how your very attention is already beginning to shift your internal landscape. The simple act of observing your breath is changing your breath. The gentle awareness of your heartbeat is already softening its rhythm. This is the observer effect in miniature, your consciousness touching your body and inviting it toward greater harmony. The quantum field is not separate from you. It is the very medium through which your awareness moves. Every thought, every feeling, every moment of attention sends ripples through this invisible ocean, calling certain possibilities closer while allowing others to drift back into potential. The power isn't in controlling these ripples, but in becoming conscious of them. When you approach tomorrow from this place of aware presence, watch how reality responds. Notice how the quantum field mirrors back the quality of your attention. The calmer your nervous system, the more elegant the more centered your awareness, the more gracefully opportunities align. This is the observer's quiet power, not the force of will, but the magnetism of presence, not the demand for specific outcomes, but the invitation for life to reveal its hidden gifts. Your consciousness is the bridge between infinite possibility and singular experience, the gentle force that collapses quantum potential into the poetry of your lived reality. As your eyes grow heavy now, let this knowing settle into your bones. You are not a victim of circumstance, but a conscious participant in the quantum dance of existence. Your awareness is the tender touch that shapes reality, the quiet power that calls forth the world. Close your eyes and let your breathing slow, like waves settling on a quiet shore. Feel your body sinking deeper into this moment, into this space, where the boundaries of who you think you are begin to soften and blur. Your heart beats in your chest, not just as a muscle pumping blood, but as an electromagnetic generator creating invisible fields that ripple outward from your body. 8 feet in every direction, your heart's energy extends like gentle fingers, touching the world around you in ways your mind has forgotten how to perceive. This is not poetry. This is physics. This is the quantum truth your body has always known. As you breathe in, imagine drawing in not just air, but the field of infinite potential that surrounds you. With each exhale, feel your edges dissolving, your sense of separation melting like morning mist touched by sunlight. The boundary between where you end and the universe begins is far more fluid than you've been taught to believe. In the quantum realm, there are no true separations. What appears as empty space between your skin and the world is alive with possibility, dense with invisible connections that link you to everything you've ever dreamed of becoming. Your thoughts, your desires, your deepest longings, they are not contained within the confines of your skull. They ripple outward through quantum fields, seeking their resonant matches in the fabric of reality itself. Feel into this truth now. What you seek to manifest is not separate from you. It never was. The relationship you long for, the abundance you desire, the version of yourself you're becoming, these exist in a state of quantum entanglement with your current awareness. Like particles that remain mysteriously connected across vast distances, you and your dreams share an invisible bond that transcends time and space. This quantum entanglement is not a metaphor your mind created for comfort. It is the fundamental architecture of existence, the hidden scaffolding upon which all reality is built. Scientists have measured it, documented it, marveled at its impossibility. Yet here you are, living within its embrace every moment of your life as your brain waves slow and deepen, moving from the busy beta rhythms of your waking day into the gentle alpha waves of twilight consciousness. You become more sensitive to these quantum connections. Your nervous system, no longer focused on survival and doing, begins to remember its natural state of being. In this softened awareness, the illusion of separation starts to dissolve. You are not an isolated island of consciousness floating in an empty ocean. You are the ocean itself, temporarily forgetting its own vastness while focusing on a single wave. The wave believes it is separate from the water, but the ocean knows better. The ocean remembers that every wave, every drop, every movement is itself in motion. Your heart's electromagnetic field extends beyond your physical form because you are more than your physical form. You are a pattern of consciousness temporarily, organizing itself as the person you call yourself. But consciousness itself has no boundaries. It flows like water, connecting all things in an invisible web of shared experience. When you were a child, you knew this intuitively. You spoke to trees and they spoke back. You felt the emotions of your stuffed animals as if they were your own. You existed in a world where everything was alive, where the boundaries between self and other were permeable and soft. This wasn't imagination. This was your quantum sensitivity still intact, not yet trained out of you by a world that insists on separation now. As you journey back toward sleep, you have the opportunity to remember what you once knew, to feel once again the truth that you are not separate from the love you seek, the abundance you desire, the peace you long for. These are not things you must acquire from outside yourself. They are aspects of your own being, waiting for your recognition. The quantum field responds to your awareness like a mirror reflecting your deepest truth. When you believe you are separate from what you desire, the field reflects that separation back to you. When you remember your inherent connection to all things, the field responds by revealing the paths and possibilities that were always there, waiting for your eyes to see them. Your breath is slowing now, each exhale releasing another layer of the protective armor you've built around your heart. This armor once served you, keeping you safe in a world that seemed dangerous and unpredictable. But now it has become a barrier between you and the quantum flow of life itself. Feel the electromagnetic field of your heart expanding with each breath, reaching out to touch the hearts of everyone you've ever loved, everyone you will love, everyone who has ever loved you. Distance and time mean nothing in this field. Past and future collapse into the eternal present of quantum connection. In this space, you can feel the presence of your future self, the version of you who has already stepped into the reality you're creating. This future self is not separated from you by time. In the quantum realm, all possibilities exist simultaneously, waiting for your awareness to collapse them into experience. Your future self reaches back through the quantum field, offering you comfort and guidance. They whisper through your intuition, through the sudden knowing that arises in quiet moments, through the synchronicities that seem to align perfectly with your deepest needs. They are you, remembering what you are in the process of becoming. As you sink deeper into this quantum space between waking and sleeping, allow yourself to feel the profound truth that nothing you desire is foreign to you. Every dream, every longing, every vision of who you might become emerges from the quantum field of your own being. You are not reaching towards something outside yourself. You are remembering something that has always been within you. The separation you feel is not a flaw to be fixed, but a temporary forgetting to be gently healed. Like a radio slowly tuning into a clearer frequency, your awareness is adjusting to perceive the quantum connections that have always existed. The static of separation is clearing, revealing the music of unity that plays eternally in the background of all existence. Let your body sink deeper into this knowing. Let your cells remember their quantum nature, their ability to communicate instantaneously across any distance, their participation in the vast web of interconnection that scientists are only beginning to understand. Your body is not separate from the earth, the stars, the infinite space that holds all things. You are the universe experiencing itself through the beautiful temporary lens of your individual awareness. In this quantum field of connection, your dreams are not wishes cast into empty space. They are communications sent along the invisible threads that connect you to all possibilities. Every sincere desire, every authentic longing, every moment of pure intention sends ripples through the quantum field, creating waves of possibility that will eventually return to you as manifest experience. Rest now in this truth. Let it settle into your bones, into your breath, into the spaces between your thoughts. You are not separate from what you seek. You are already entangled with it, already connected to it, already in relationship with it. Us, the dimensions of time and space, and in this quantum entanglement, what question remains but how gently, how beautifully, how gracefully you will allow yourself to remember who you have always been. Your body remembers everything. Every moment of safety, every flash of danger, every breath held in anticipation, every exhale released in relief. Tonight, as you settle into the gentle embrace of rest, feel how your nervous system carries within it an ancient wisdom, knowing that runs deeper than thought, older than memory, more fundamental than the stories you tell yourself about who you are. Your nervous system is not simply a network of electrical impulses racing through flesh and bone. It is a living bridge between the quantum field of infinite possibility and the physical reality you experience moment by moment. When your body feels safe, when your breath deepens and your shoulders melt away from your ears, you become a tuning fork vibrating at the frequency of receptivity. The quantum field responds to this state of being, not your state of doing. Breathe with me now, allowing your ribcage to expand like gentle waves lapping against a peaceful shore. Notice how your body begins to soften, how the tension you've carried dissolves into the darkness around you. This is not weakness, this is your nervous system remembering its original design, its capacity to flow between states of alertness and rest, like the natural rhythm of day and night for so long. You may have believed that manifestation required force, that dreams came true through pushing and striving and willing reality into submission. But your nervous system holds a different truth. It knows that attraction happens in the spaces between effort, in the pause between heartbeats. In the moment when your guard drops and your authentic self emerges from beneath layers of protective armor, when trauma patterns loop through your system like old recordings playing on repeat, they create a static that interferes with your natural ability to receive. Your body, in its wisdom, learned to brace against a world that once felt unsafe. These patterns served you then, protecting you from overwhelm, helping you survive moments that required all your strength. But now, in the quiet sanctuary of this moment, your nervous system can begin to remember that safety is not something you must create through vigilance, it is something you can allow through presence. The observer effect in quantum physics reveals that consciousness itself shapes reality through the very act of witnessing. But this witnessing is not the harsh gaze of judgment or the anxious scanning of a hyper-vigilant mind. It is the soft, compassionate awareness of a nervous system at peace with itself. When you observe your thoughts without trying to change them, when you notice your emotions without needing to fix them, you create space for quantum shifts to occur naturally. Your breath becomes the bridge between the conscious and unconscious mind. Each inhale draws in possibility. Each exhale releases what no longer serves. Feel how your nervous system responds to this rhythm, how it begins to synchronize with something larger than itself. This is not meditation as performance or practice. As achievement, this is simply your body remembering how to be present with what is. The trauma loops that once felt permanent begin to soften in the presence of regulated awareness. Your nervous system, given permission to rest, starts to distinguish between memory and reality, between what happened then and what is happening now. In this space of gentle discernment, old patterns lose their grip and new possibilities begin to emerge, like stars appearing in a darkening sky. Consider how a flower doesn't strain to bloom, it simply receives the right conditions and unfolds naturally. Your nervous system, when held in safety and compassion, operates with the same organic intelligence. It knows how to shift from states of survival into states of thriving, how to move from frequencies of fear into frequencies of love, how to transform the electromagnetic field of your being from one of protection to one of attraction. Quantum entanglement suggests that particles once connected remain connected across vast distances, responding to each other instantaneously. Your nervous system carries this same capacity for connection, for sensing the threads that bind you to all of life. When you feel safe in your own skin, when your internal environment reflects peace rather than chaos, you naturally entangle with experiences that match this frequency. The quantum field is not separate from you. It is the very fabric of your being, expressing itself through the intricate dance of your nervous system. Each neuron that fires, each synapse that connects, each cascade of chemicals released through your bloodstream participates in the ongoing creation of your reality. This is not metaphor. This is the literal truth of how consciousness shapes matter through the vehicle of your embodied experience. Your heart, with its electromagnetic field 50 times stronger than your brain, serves as the primary antenna for quantum communication. When your heart rate becomes coherent, when the rhythm between inhale and exhale creates a natural wave pattern, you broadcast a signal that the quantum field recognizes as an invitation. This is how manifestation really works, not through mental effort, but through the coherent frequency of a nervous system at peace. Tonight, as you surrender to the healing embrace of rest, allow your nervous system to remember its original blueprint. Feel how it naturally moves toward balance, how it seeks coherence the way a river seeks the ocean. The old patterns of hypervigilance and emotional armor were learned responses to an environment that required protection. But in this moment, in this breath, your nervous system can begin to unlearn what it needed to survive and remember what it needs to thrive. The quantum mind emerges when your nervous system stops fighting itself, when the internal war between what you think you should feel and what you actually feel comes to a peaceful resolution. In this space of inner harmony, your capacity to receive guidance, to recognize opportunities, to sense the subtle movements of the quantum field becomes naturally enhanced. Your nervous system holds the keys to manifestation, not through force or manipulation, but through the gentle art of regulation and trust. When trauma patterns dissolve in the presence of deep nervous system coherence, space opens for new neural pathways to form, new possibilities to emerge, new realities to crystallize around the frequency of your authentic being. As you drift toward sleep, carry with you this truth. Your nervous system is not something you must fix or overcome. It is something you can befriend, something you can listen to, something you can trust to guide you home to yourself. In this homecoming, in this return to your natural state of coherent being, the quantum field responds with experiences that reflect your inner peace back to you. What would it feel like to trust your nervous system completely? To know that its wisdom runs deeper than any story your mind could tell about what you need or deserve or are capable of receiving. Right now, as you settle into this quiet moment, your body is humming with a frequency that extends far beyond your physical form. Each heartbeat sends ripples through the electromagnetic field that surrounds you. Each breath creates subtle vibrations. In the air that touches your skin, each thought generates electrical patterns that dance across your neural networks. You are not a solid separate being, you are a living symphony of frequency, constantly broadcasting your inner state into the vast field of possibility that permeates everything. Feel your chest rising and falling. Notice how each breath carries with it not just oxygen, but information, the frequency of your current emotional state, the vibration of your deepest beliefs, the energetic signature of everything you've been holding in your heart. This is not poetry. This is physics. This is the quantum field, reading the story of your inner world through the language of frequency. Tonight, as your nervous system downregulates and your brain waves slow into the alpha and theta rhythms of deep relaxation, you have an opportunity to tune into something profound, the frequency of allowing. This is not a frequency you create through effort or intention. It is a frequency you discover by removing the interference, by letting go of the resistive patterns that have been blocking your natural magnetism. Think of a radio trying to pick up a distant station. When there's static, when there's interference, the signal becomes distorted, unclear. But when you adjust the dial just right, when you find that sweet spot of reception, suddenly the music comes through crystal clear. The frequency of allowing is like finding that perfect tuning where your energy becomes so clear, so aligned, that the quantum field can respond to your deepest desires without obstruction. This is not about forcing yourself into a positive state. That would be like trying to tune a radio by screaming at it. Instead, it's about gently adjusting your inner dial by releasing the frequencies that create static, the frequency of desperate need, the frequency of fear-based control, the frequency of trying to manipulate outcomes through sheer force of will. As you breathe deeper, feel into the places where you've been holding tension, not just physical tension, but emotional tension, the tight grip of trying to make things happen on your timeline, in your way, according to your limited understanding of how life should unfold. Notice how this tension creates a frequency of resistance that pushes away the very things you're trying to attract. The quantum field doesn't respond to your desires when they're wrapped in the frequency of desperation. It responds when your desires are held in the frequency of trust. It responds when your dreams are cradled in the frequency of knowing that you are worthy of them, that you are already connected to them, that they are already on their way to you. Through channels you cannot yet see, your cells understand this language of frequency intimately. They are constantly communicating with each other through chemical signals, electromagnetic pulses, and quantum coherence. When you're in a state of stress, when you're forcing outcomes, your cells emit chaotic frequencies that create inflammation, confusion, and energetic discord. But when you're in a state of allowing, when you're trusting the natural flow of life, your cells begin to harmonize, creating coherent frequencies that support healing, clarity, and magnetic attraction. Feel this cellular harmony beginning to emerge as you continue to relax. Notice how your body naturally knows how to breathe, how to circulate blood, how to digest food, how to heal wounds, all without your conscious effort. This is the frequency of allowing in action. This is your body showing you what it means to trust the intelligence of life itself. Now extend this trust beyond your body. Feel how the same intelligence that coordinates your trillions of cells is also coordinating the movement of planets, the blooming of flowers, the migration of birds. You are not separate from this cosmic intelligence. You are an expression of it. When you align with the frequency of allowing, you align with the same force that orchestrates galaxies. This is where quantum events begin to unfold with perfect timing. In quantum physics, events don't happen in isolation, they happen in relationship to the consciousness that observes them. When your consciousness is clear, when your frequency is coherent, when you're in a state of allowing rather than forcing, you create the optimal conditions for quantum events to manifest in your favor. These quantum events might appear as coincidences that seem to align perfectly with your desires. They might appear as unexpected opportunities that arise just when you need them. They might appear as internal shifts in perception that suddenly make previously impossible things seem natural and easy. But here's what's crucial to understand. These quantum events are not random. They are not luck. They are the natural result of your frequency coming into alignment with the frequency of what you desire. When you stop trying to force outcomes and instead cultivate the frequency of allowing, you become magnetic to the very experiences that serve your highest good. This is not about bypassing difficult emotions or pretending everything is fine when it isn't. True allowing includes allowing yourself to feel whatever is present: sadness, anger, fear, grief. But it's about feeling these emotions without getting trapped in their frequency. It's about letting them move through you like weather patterns, moving through the sky, knowing that beneath the changing emotional weather, your essential nature remains clear and spacious as you continue to breathe. As you continue to soften, notice how allowing feels different from forcing. Forcing has a quality of pushing, of efforting, of trying to make something happen through will alone. Allowing has a quality of opening, of receiving, of creating space for something to emerge naturally. Forcing creates tension in your body and chaos in your energy field. Allowing creates relaxation in your body and coherence in your energy field. The quantum field responds to this coherence, like a tuning fork responding to a pure note. When your frequency is clear and steady, when you're broadcasting the signal of allowing rather than the noise of resistance, the field begins to organize itself around your true desires. Resources appear, people show up, opportunities unfold, not because you forced them to, but because you created the energetic conditions for them to emerge naturally. This is the secret that meditation masters and quantum physicists are both discovering: that consciousness and reality are not separate phenomena, but different aspects of the same underlying field. When you change your frequency, you change your reality. When you shift from forcing to allowing, you shift from struggle to flow. Tonight, as you drift towards sleep, let your body teach you the frequency of allowing. Let your breath show you what it means to trust the natural rhythm of life. Let your heartbeat remind you that you are already connected to the cosmic pulse that moves through all things. Feel yourself becoming a clear channel for the quantum field to work through. Feel yourself becoming magnetic rather than resistive. Feel yourself aligning with the frequency that draws your deepest desires toward you with perfect timing and grace. What would it feel like to trust this process so completely that you never needed to force anything again? Let your breath find its natural rhythm now, like gentle rain beginning to fall on rich, dark soil. Beneath the surface of your conscious mind lies a vast garden, an infinite landscape where beliefs, memories, and identity patterns grow like living things, their roots intertwined in ways you've never fully explored. This inner garden has been cultivated by every moment of your life. Each experience, each repeated thought, each emotional response has planted seeds in the fertile darkness of your subconscious. Some have grown into towering trees of strength and wisdom. Others have become thorny patches of old wounds and limiting beliefs. But here's what most people don't understand. Your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what you force and what you allow. It simply responds to the seeds you plant through repetition and feeling. Imagine walking through this garden of your inner world. Notice how some areas feel lush and vibrant, where positive patterns have taken root through years of gentle nurturing. Perhaps there's a corner where self-compassion grows wild, or a grove where creativity flourishes in the shade of childhood wonder. These are the gifts of your unconscious gardening, the beautiful things that bloomed when you weren't trying so hard. But notice to the areas that feel tangled, overgrown with patterns that no longer serve you, the thick brambles of self that sprouted from long ago criticisms, the persistent weeds of perfectionism that choke out spontaneous joy, the barren patches where trauma once scorched the earth, leaving the soil reluctant to trust new growth. Your conscious mind has likely spent years trying to hack away at these unwanted growths with the sharp blade of willpower. You've attempted to uproot limiting beliefs through force, to shame yourself into better patterns, to muscle your way past emotional blocks. But the subconscious garden doesn't respond to violence, it responds to presence, to patience, to the loving attention of a master gardener who understands that transformation happens through invitation, not invasion. As you sink deeper into this moment, feeling your body's weight against the earth, you begin to remember something profound. You are not your garden, but the gardener. You are not your patterns, but the consciousness that can choose which seeds to water with your attention. This shift in perspective is where the real magic begins. The quantum field is always listening to the frequency of your inner garden. When your subconscious is overgrown with fear-based patterns, it broadcasts a frequency of limitation into the field of infinite possibility. The universe, in its perfect responsiveness, mirrors back experiences that match this internal landscape. But when you begin to tend your inner garden with gentle attention, when you start planting seeds of trust and possibility, the quantum field responds with miraculous growth. Your nervous system is the bridge between your conscious intentions and your subconscious patterns. When you're dysregulated, caught in fight or flight responses, you're unconsciously watering the weeds of old conditioning. The stressed nervous system speaks to the subconscious in the language of danger, reinforcing patterns of protection and scarcity. But when you breathe deeply, when you allow your nervous system to settle into parasympathetic calm, you create the perfect conditions for new growth. Think of your breath as the gentlest rain, nourishing whatever you choose to focus on. As you breathe in, imagine drawing in the qualities you want to cultivate: peace, trust, openness, love. As you breathe out, you're not forcing away the old patterns, but simply allowing them to compost naturally, becoming fertile soil for whatever wants to emerge. The subconscious mind learns through repetition and feeling, not through logic or force. This is why affirmations alone often fail, their seeds scattered on hard ground without the emotional water needed for germination. But when you combine gentle repetition with a feeling of already being who you're becoming, magic happens. The subconscious accepts this new reality as true and begins to reorganize your entire inner landscape accordingly. Notice how different this feels from your old approaches to change. Instead of fighting against what you don't want, you're nurturing what you do want. Instead of trying to eliminate negative patterns, you're crowding them out with positive growth. The quantum field responds to this shift in energy, aligning circumstances and opportunities with your newly planted seeds. Your identity itself is simply a collection of patterns in this subconscious garden. The story of who you are, what you're capable of, what you deserve. These are all just well-worn paths through the landscape of your inner world. But paths can be redirected, and new ones can be created through the patient practice of conscious gardening. As you lie here now, feeling your body soften with each breath, you're already beginning this sacred work. The simple act of observing your thoughts without judgment is like walking through your garden with loving awareness. You're not trying to change anything by force, you're simply becoming aware of what's already there, appreciating the beauty that exists while gently noting areas that might benefit from tender attention. The quantum field is incredibly sensitive to the quality of your inner environment. When your subconscious garden is tended with love rather than criticism, with patience rather than urgency, with trust rather than control. It broadcasts a frequency of harmony into the field of infinite possibility. The universe responds by sending you experiences that reflect this inner transformation. This is why sleep is such a powerful time for this work. As your conscious mind relaxes its grip, as your analytical defenses dissolve, your subconscious becomes more receptive to new seeds. The thoughts and feelings you carry into sleep are the ones that get planted most deeply, watered by the mysterious processes of dream and cellular repair. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, imagine yourself as a master gardener walking through your inner landscape with infinite patience and love. You're not trying to change everything at once. You're simply choosing one small area to tend with your attention. Perhaps it's the corner where self-love wants to grow, or the clearing where new possibilities are waiting to sprout. Place your hands gently on your heart and feel the warmth of your own loving presence. This is the most powerful fertilizer for your inner garden, the recognition that you are both the gardener and the soil, the seed and the sun, the rain and the rainbow that appears after the storm. The subconscious responds to consistency rather than intensity. A few minutes of gentle attention each day will create more transformation than hours of forceful effort. Like a skilled gardener who knows that the most beautiful flowers bloom in their own time, you're learning to trust the natural rhythm of growth and change. As your eyes grow heavy now, let this knowing settle into the deepest layers of your being. Your subconscious garden is always growing, always responding to the seeds you plant through your attention and feeling. When you tend it with the gentle patience of a master gardener, the quantum field responds with miraculous growth, blooming into a reality that reflects the beauty you've cultivated within. Let your breath slow and deepen as you settle into this moment, feeling the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Beneath your palm, if you place it there, you can feel the steady rhythm of your heart, not just a muscle beating, but a powerful electromagnetic generator creating the strongest field in your entire body. Your heart is far more than the blood pump you were taught about in school. It is a sophisticated antenna, broadcasting and receiving information through invisible frequencies that connect you to the quantum field of infinite possibility. With each beat, it sends out electromagnetic waves that extend beyond your physical form, touching the world around you in ways your mind has never learned to perceive. Right now, as you breathe deeper, your heart is creating a symphony of electromagnetic frequencies. These waves ripple outward from your chest, carrying the unique signature of your current emotional state, your deepest desires, your most authentic self. This is not metaphor. This is measurable science. This is the music your heart plays in the quantum field of existence. For so long, you've been taught to live from your head, to think your way through problems, to force outcomes through mental effort, to push against reality with the strength of your will. But your mind, brilliant as it is, speaks a language the quantum field doesn't easily understand. It speaks in words, in concepts, in the sharp edges of separation and control. Your heart speaks a different language entirely. It speaks in rhythm, in coherence, in the fluid frequencies of emotion and resonance. When you shift from head-centered forcing to heart-centered allowing, your entire energetic signature transforms. The harsh static of mental striving gives way to the smooth, melodic frequencies of authentic being. Feel this shift happening now as your breath naturally deepens. Notice how your heart rate begins to find its own rhythm, no longer driven by the urgency of your thoughts, but settling into the natural coherence that emerges when you stop trying so hard to make things happen. This heart coherence is not just a feeling, it's a measurable state where your heart rhythm becomes smooth and sine wave-like, creating a powerful resonance throughout your entire nervous system. Your brain begins to entrain to this coherent rhythm, your emotions stabilize, and your electromagnetic field becomes a clear, strong signal broadcasting into the quantum field. In this state, you become a living tuning fork, vibrating at frequencies that naturally attract experiences aligned with your heart's deepest knowing. The quantum field responds to this coherent electromagnetic symphony like a cosmic radio, picking up a clear station after hours of static. Your mind has spent years learning to override your heart's wisdom, dismissing its gentle guidance as impractical or naive. But your heart carries intelligence. Your mind cannot access an intelligence that knows the quantum language of resonance, attraction, and flow. It knows things before they happen, feels connections before they form, recognizes truth before logic can prove it. As you breathe even deeper now, imagine your heart as a sophisticated broadcasting station. With each coherent beat, it sends out waves of electromagnetic information that carry the essence of who you truly are. These waves travel through the quantum field, seeking resonant matches, people, opportunities, experiences that vibrate at complementary frequencies. This is not wishful thinking. This is the fundamental mechanism by which consciousness interacts with physical reality. Your heart's electromagnetic field carries information about your emotional state, your intentions, your authentic desires. The quantum field, responsive to consciousness itself, begins to organize around these frequencies, creating pathways for manifestation that your mind could never strategically plan. When you try to force outcomes from your head, you create electromagnetic, noise-choppy, incoherent signals that confuse the quantum field. Your heart rate becomes erratic, your emotions scattered, your field fragmented. The universe receives mixed signals and responds with mixed results, leaving you feeling frustrated and disconnected from the flow of life. But when you shift into heart-centered, allowing, something miraculous happens. Your breathing naturally deepens, your heart rate variability increases in healthy ways, and your electromagnetic field becomes coherent and strong. You become a clear beacon in the quantum field, attracting experiences that match your heart's authentic frequency. Feel this coherence building now as your body settles deeper into relaxation. Your heart is finding its natural rhythm, no longer pushed around by the anxious demands of your thinking mind. Each beat creates a wave of electromagnetic energy that ripples outward, carrying the signature of your deepest truth. This is the frequency of your soul, not the frequency of your fears, your doubts, your learned limitations, but the clear, strong signal of who you came here to be. Your heart knows this frequency intimately. It has been broadcasting it your entire life, even when your mind was too busy to listen. In indigenous traditions, they speak of the heart as the seat of wisdom, the place where heaven and earth meet within the human body. Modern science is beginning to understand what ancient wisdom always knew, that the heart is an organ of perception, capable of receiving and transmitting information through electromagnetic fields that connect us to the larger web of existence. Your heart's electromagnetic symphony is constantly composing itself, moment by moment, beat by beat. When you're in states of love, gratitude, appreciation, or peace, the symphony becomes coherent and beautiful. When you're in states of fear, frustration, anger, or forcing, the symphony becomes chaotic and dissonant. The quantum field is always listening to your heart's music. It responds not to what you think you want, but to the authentic frequency you're broadcasting. This is why manifestation from the mind alone often fails. The head says one thing while the heart sings another, and the quantum field responds to the heart's more powerful electromagnetic signal. As you continue to breathe deeply, allow your awareness to drop from your head down into your heart center. Feel the warmth, the space, the natural rhythm that exists there. This is your true center, the place from which your most authentic desires arise. From this heart-centered space, you don't need to force anything. You don't need to push or strive or make things happen through sheer willpower. You simply need to allow your heart to broadcast its coherent electromagnetic symphony, trusting that the quantum field will respond with experiences that match your authentic frequency. This is the secret the mystics knew and the scientists are rediscovering. That consciousness creates reality through the electromagnetic language of the heart. Your thoughts may shape your mental experience, but your heart's electromagnetic field shapes your physical reality. Let your heart rate slow even further now, finding that perfect coherence where each beat flows smoothly into the next. Feel how this coherence creates a sense of peace throughout your entire being. Your nervous system relaxes, your emotions stabilize, and your electromagnetic field becomes a clear, strong signal broadcasting into the infinite field of possibility. In this state, you are not, say, separate from what you desire. You are electromagnetically entangled with it, connected through the invisible threads of quantum coherence. Your heart's symphony is already in resonance with the reality you're creating, playing the music that will draw it into your experience. Rest now in this electromagnetic embrace, knowing that your heart is doing the work your mind could never accomplish. It is broadcasting your authentic frequency into the quantum field, creating the resonance that will attract the experiences meant for you. And in this heart-centered allowing, in this electromagnetic symphony of coherence, what could be more natural than simply letting your authentic self be heard? In the space between thoughts, where silence holds court and possibilities shimmer like heat waves rising from summer pavement, you discover something extraordinary. This is not emptiness. This is the fullness of quantum coherence, the state where all potential experiences exist simultaneously, waiting for your consciousness to gently select one to experience. Tonight, as you surrender to sleep's ancient wisdom, feel how this field of infinite possibility moves through you like breath through lungs. Natural and effortless, your mind has been trained to believe that creation requires force, that manifestation demands struggle, that dreams come true only through relentless pursuit. But in this moment between waking and sleeping, you remember a different truth. You remember how to dance with the quantum field without stepping on its toes, how to move with the natural rhythm of creation rather than against it. Feel your body settling into the bed beneath you, each muscle releasing its grip on the dais. Tensions. This physical surrender mirrors something deeper, your consciousness learning to release its desperate grasp on how things should unfold. In quantum coherence, the very act of forcing an outcome collapses the wave of possibility into a single, limited expression. But when you soften, when you allow, when you dance rather than demand, the field responds with experiences that exceed your imagination. Breathe with me now, allowing the pause between inhale and exhale to expand like a gentle tide pool where infinite possibilities can gather. In this space, you are not separate from the quantum field. You are its expression, its way of knowing itself, its method of transforming potential into experience. Your consciousness does not create from nothing. It selects from everything, like a skilled dancer choosing which note to emphasize in an endless symphony. The observer effect reveals that consciousness and matter are not separate entities but partners in an eternal dance. When you observe without attachment, when you witness without judgment, when you notice without needing to control, you create space for quantum events to unfold naturally. This is not passive waiting, this is active allowing, the most sophisticated form of participation in creation. Your heart knows this dance intimately. Feel how it beats, not through your effort, but through its own intelligent rhythm, how it responds to the quantum frequency of your emotional state. When your heart is coherent, when its electromagnetic field broadcasts peace rather than anxiety, love rather than fear, you naturally entangle with experiences that match this frequency. This is quantum manifestation, not the manipulation of reality, but the alignment with it. Consider how a river never struggles to reach the ocean. It simply follows the path of least resistance, carving new channels when necessary, flowing around obstacles with fluid grace. Your consciousness, when in quantum coherence, operates with the same organic intelligence. It knows how to navigate the field of possibilities without forcing outcomes, how to receive guidance without grasping for control. The quantum mind emerges when you stop trying to solve the puzzle of manifestation and instead allow yourself to become one with the puzzle itself. In this state of coherent awareness, the boundaries between observer and observed begin to dissolve. You realize that you are not separate from what you desire. You are the field from which all desires emerge, the space in which all experiences unfold. Tonight, as thoughts arise and dissolve like clouds passing through an infinite sky, notice how each one carries within it the seed of a possible reality. But these seeds only sprout when planted in the fertile soil of coherent consciousness. When your nervous system is calm enough to recognize opportunity, receptive enough to receive guidance, trusting enough to take inspired action, quantum entanglement suggests that once particles interact, they remain connected across vast distances, responding to each other instantaneously. Your consciousness operates through this same principle of non-local connection. When you achieve coherence within yourself, you naturally entangle with people, situations, and experiences that reflect this inner harmony. This is not magic, this is the natural physics of consciousness expressing itself through matter. The dance of quantum coherence requires a paradoxical skill, being fully present while remaining unattached to outcomes. Like a skilled partner who leads by following, who guides by yielding, who creates by allowing. Feel how your body already knows this dance, how your breath rises and falls without your conscious direction, how your heart beats in rhythm with a cosmic pulse you cannot hear but somehow recognize, in the space between one thought and the next, between one breath and the following, between this moment and whatever comes after, lies a field of pure potential. This is not theoretical physics, is the lived reality of your experience right now. Every gap in your thinking, every pause in your mental commentary, every moment of simple presence is a doorway into quantum coherence. Your emotions serve as the music for this dance. When you feel joy, you move to a different rhythm than when you feel fear. When you experience love, you dance with a different quality than when you carry resentment. The quantum field responds to these emotional frequencies not as judgment but as instruction, not as good or bad but as specific requests for experiences that match your internal state. The trauma patterns that once protected you, by creating rigid responses to perceived threats, now dissolve in the presence of coherent awareness. Your nervous system, given permission to rest in the safety of this moment, begins to distinguish between memory and reality, between what happened then and what is possible now. In this space of gentle discernment, old patterns lose their choreography and new dances emerge. Quantum jumping is not about leaping into different realities. It is about recognizing that you are always choosing which reality to experience through. The quality of your consciousness. Each moment offers infinite branching paths, infinite possible timelines, infinite expressions of your essential nature. The dance of quantum coherence is simply learning to feel which path resonates with your deepest truth. As you drift towards sleep, carry with you this understanding. The quantum field is not something you must learn to manipulate or control. It is something you can learn to trust, something you can learn to dance with, something you can learn to let move through you. When you stop forcing outcomes and instead move with the natural rhythm of creation, miracles become as natural as breathing. Your consciousness is not a flashlight illuminating a dark room. It is the room itself, the light itself, the very space in which all experience unfolds. In quantum coherence, you remember this truth not as concept, but as lived reality, not as belief, but as being. What would it feel like to trust the dance completely, to know that every step you take is already choreographed by the infinite intelligence of the quantum field itself? In the deepest chambers of your being, beneath the layers of who you think you should be, lives someone you have never fully met. They are not the person you present to the world, not the person you try to become through effort and discipline, not the person you think you need to be to deserve your dreams. This person is your authentic self, the one who exists before strategy, before performance, before the endless trying to fix and improve and transform yourself into someone more worthy of love. Tonight, as your body sinks into the soft embrace of rest, as your breath becomes your gentle guide into the mystery of who you truly are, you have an opportunity to meet this person, not through searching, not through psychoanalysis, not through any kind of spiritual effort, but through the profound act of surrender that allows your deepest truth to emerge naturally, like a flower opening to the sun. This is the alchemy of surrender, the mysterious process by which letting go becomes the ultimate creative act. The ancient alchemists spoke of transforming lead into gold, but they were not really talking about metals. They were talking about the transformation that happens when you stop trying to become someone else and start allowing yourself to be who you've always been beneath the conditioning. Feel your shoulders releasing as you breathe. Notice how your body naturally knows how to let go when you're not commanding it to hold a particular shape. This is your body teaching you the first law of authentic manifestation, that everything you truly desire is already attracted to the person you are when you stop trying to be someone else. The quantum field that surrounds you right now is not responding to your ambitions. It is not impressed by your 5-year plans or your vision boards or your affirmations. It is responding to something far more subtle and far more powerful, the frequency of your authentic being when it is no longer masked by the performance of becoming. Think of it like this. Imagine you are a radio station that has been trying to broadcast someone else's music. You've been studying their songs, copying their style, trying to sound like them because you believe that's what people want to hear. But the signal is always a bit distorted, always a bit off, because it's not coming from your true source. Then one day you stop trying to be them and start playing your own music that emerges from the depths of your own soul. Suddenly, the signal becomes crystal clear, and people who have been searching for exactly your frequency can finally find you. This is what happens in the quantum field. When you surrender the effort to become someone else and allow yourself to be who you are, your authentic frequency begins to broadcast clearly, and the experiences, people, and opportunities that are truly aligned with your soul's purpose can finally locate you. But here's the paradox that the mind struggles to understand. This surrender is not passive. It is not giving up or checking out or becoming resigned to whatever happens. Surrender is the most active thing you can do because it requires you to constantly choose trust over control, presence over performance, authenticity over approval, as you continue to breathe, as you continue to soften. Feel into the places where you've been wearing masks, not just with others, but with yourself. The mask of having it all figured out. The mask of being further along than you actually are. The mask of not needing what you deeply need. The mask of being someone who doesn't struggle, who doesn't doubt, who doesn't feel the tender vulnerability of being human. These masks are not your fault. They formed as protection, as ways to navigate a world that often feels unsafe for authentic expression. But they also create a barrier between you and the quantum field. Because the field can only respond to what is real, not what is performed. When you begin to let these masks dissolve not through force, but through the gentle acceptance of your own humanity, something remarkable happens. The energy you were using to maintain the performance becomes available for creation. The frequency that was being distorted by trying to be someone else becomes clear and magnetic. The quantum field can finally see you, and in seeing you, it can respond to your authentic desires rather than your conditioned ones. This is where the real alchemy happens, not in the transformation of who you are, but in the revelation of who you've always been. The lead of your conditioned self doesn't become gold, dissolves to reveal the gold that was always there, waiting beneath the surface. Your nervous system understands this process intimately. When you're in a state of authenticity, when you're being true to yourself rather than performing for others, your nervous system relaxes, your heart rate variability increases, your immune system strengthens, your brain waves synchronize. You enter what researchers call a state of coherence where your heart, mind, and body are working in harmony rather than conflict. In this state of coherence, you become a powerful transmitter of your authentic frequency. You begin to attract experiences that match who you really are rather than who you think you should be. You begin to manifest from a place of wholeness rather than emptiness, from a place of self-love rather than self-improvement. Feel this coherence beginning to emerge as you continue to relax. Notice how your body naturally harmonizes when you're not demanding it to be different. Notice how your breath naturally deepens when you're not trying to breathe correctly. Notice how your mind naturally quiets when you're not trying to think better thoughts. This is surrender in action, the profound recognition that you are already whole, already worthy, already enough. Not because you've achieved anything, or overcome anything, or transcended anything, but because wholeness is your natural state. When you stop fragmenting yourself through the effort to be someone else, the quantum field responds to this wholeness, like a magnet responds to metal. When you're broadcasting the frequency of your authentic self, when you're no longer diluting your signal with the noise of trying to be someone else, the field begins to organize itself around your true nature. Opportunities appear that are perfectly suited to who you actually are. People enter your life who can see and appreciate your real gifts. Resources flow toward you that support your authentic path rather than your conditioned goals. This is not about abandoning your desires or giving up on your dreams. It It is about recognizing that your truest desires are not separate from who you are. They are expressions of who you are. When you surrender the effort to become someone else, you discover that your authentic self is already aligned with everything you truly need. The ancient mystics knew this secret. They understood that the spiritual path is not about becoming someone better, but about removing the obstacles to recognizing who you've always been. They practiced surrender not as a way to get what they wanted, but as a way to discover what they actually wanted beneath the layers of conditioning. Modern quantum physics is rediscovering this ancient wisdom through the lens of science. It is showing us that consciousness and reality are not separate phenomena, but different aspects of the same underlying field. When you change your consciousness not through effort, but through surrender, you change your reality. When you stop trying to force outcomes and start allowing your authentic self to emerge, you align with the creative force of the universe itself. As you drift toward sleep tonight, let your body teach you the art of surrender. Let your breath show you what it means to trust the natural rhythm of your being. Let your heartbeat remind you that you are already connected to the cosmic pulse that moves through all things. Feel yourself becoming transparent to your own deeper nature. Feel the masks dissolving, not through struggle, but through the gentle acceptance of what is. Feel your authentic frequency beginning to broadcast clearly into the quantum field. This is the alchemy of surrender, the mysterious process by which letting go of who you think you should be becomes the doorway to discovering who you've always been. In this discovery, in this return to your essential nature, lies the secret of true manifestation. What would it feel like to trust that your authentic self is already everything you need to be?